my mentor, my friend, my colleague. I first met a very prim lady, short in stature, way back in the late 50s, when I was a third-year medical student. She was in the league of UP graduates who came over to become faculty members of FEU and RMF. And she was with Dr. Aragon, Isidro, Angelina Santos, Mike De Leon, Nova Espinola, and all the like. Alice de la Paz. She was a close friend of Alice de la Paz. And for those who are young members of our staff, probably you were not yet born then, or probably your parents were dreaming about your coming into the world. At the time, they were very strict. There were lots of medical students then when we were in our first year. But it trimmed down so that at the time that we graduated from our medical school, we were but barely 200 plus. And I had an occasion to be a student of Dr. Baltazar. That's why I called her my mentor. But my learning experience from her did not just end as being my teacher in obstetrics and gynecology, but we went on further and further and further. And as I journeyed through my life in FEU Hospital and in FEU Institute of Medicine, we were together. She was my consultant, I was her resident. I have learned so much in her. There's one thing that I imbibe from her, which is with me up to the present, and that's punctuality and discipline. And there were moments, hurting times, during those years that I was with her, especially when I was under training, and sometimes we were also under stress because our consultants found many faults with us, and truly so. There were many deficiencies in us then, as it is until now, because nobody is perfect. But I saw her as a very busy obstetrician gynecologist. And probably God made it so that I shared the same way of life with her, except that I got married and had children. Okay? And I was asking her then, during those light moments when we were in the delivery room, Tora, bakit hindi kayo nagka-boyfriend? Ba't ayaw yung mag-asawa? Sabi ko sa kanya, ganon, sabi niya sa akin, probably it's my fate. Meron pa akong isang tinanong sa kanya because I was trying to follow her path towards, greater things in the pocket. Yeah, at that time, when I was a dreamer. I'm still a dreamer now, but a more subdued dreamer. Okay? Sabi ko sa kanya, Doktora, anong ginagawa niyo sa pera niyo? Ang dami-dami niyong pera. Saan nyo inilalagay? Hindi naman kayo magastos because she was very prim. She was always well-dressed, but she was very simple. And as mentioned earlier, the word frugal. She was not a spendthrift. Ano mo sabi niya sa akin, Osi? Buhay pa noon ang father niya. Kailangan kong tulungan ng mga kapatid ko at saka ang mga pamangkin ko kasi nagagalit ang tatay ko pag hindi ako tumulong. And that is one thing that has stayed with me through the years. Her generosity, her love for her family. Hindi lang kapatid, hindi lang pamangkin, hanggang apo, hanggang mga nagsalita na galing sa iba-ibang bansa. Nagpapasalamat sa kanya because all of them, she touched their lives with her generosity. And the legacy that she left for those whom she helped in the education stayed on and on. Nothing can take that away from them. Maraming salamat, Dr. Baltazar. And hopefully, from the lesson that I gathered from that part of her life that I have imbibed, in some little way, I have done also, hopefully, for others. Our relationship spanned decades because our relationship only stopped last Sunday early morning when the Lord took her away from us. And we had rough times together, as well as good times, as narrated by the previous speakers. Because we were together for a long time in administration, in FEU and RMF. She as dean and I as director. And those were not easy times. And sometimes it's literally like crying on one's shoulder and sharing the aches and pains of being administrators, where everyone seems to see what is wrong with you and what you have done wrong, but nobody really sees what you have done right. Right, Ray? Because you have been there. And it was not easy to deal with people. And sabi ko nga kay Dr. Baltazar noon, Dr. Baltazar, buti po kayo ang kausap ninyo, estudyante at magulang ng estudyante. At medyo mild ang mga employee nyo. Ako po isa ospital eh. Lahat po doon, amo ko, ultimong janitor hanggang sa kataas-taas ang kay Mrs. Reyes. Right, Ray? And we had to dance to their music. They do not dance to our music. We dance to their music. And kumisa pag nag-meeting, nagkakagalit yung mga mas matataas sa amin, naka-atras na kami ng Dr. Baltazar, nagtatago na kami para hindi kami masama sa criss-cross ng mga away ng mga nakakataas sa amin. Hindi naman physical away, ha? Battle of wits and brains. All for FEU and RMN. Our relationship went beyond FEU and RMN. It was through our specialty society that we started working again. And she was ahead of me. She was president of POGS 1984 or 1985. And I was president in 1991. So along this way, we went up through the ladder of leadership in the Philippine Obstetrics and Gynecological Society. Marami kaming personal encounter, like for example, if I have some heartaches in my family, sabi niya sa akin, itong si Lilia, sabi niya gano'n, hindi mo maririnig dumaing ng tungkol sa kanyang pamilya. Hindi yun nagsasabi kung may problema sa pamilya. Sabi ko sa kanya, Doktora, marami na po kayong inaasikaso, ayoko nang dagdagan ng iba niyong problema. Pero alam niyo naman, at alam ko naman na pag nagsabi ako sa inyo, tutulungan niyo ako. So we help each other, we admire each other, we deeply respect each other. She is so quiet, lying down, so pretty, so calm, so serene. And life was not like that. There were moments of serenity and happiness and peace in her life, but there were many humps and bumps in her life, which she crossed over, hurdled, and she went through it. She is a woman of stature. Not all of us can be like her. My only advantage over her is that I have become a natural mother. But that is not what she did not have, because she was a mother, a grandmother to all her family members. Marami siyang anak at ako, Osi, alam ko kung paano niya kayo minahal. Kung paano niya inisip ang kanyang mga kapatid, ang kanyang mga pamangkin, ang kanyang mga apo. Ang palagay ko sa kanya, malipit siya sa sarili. Pero bukas payag siya sa mga mahal niya sa buhay. And by that alone, I am sure, Doktora, I am sure that you have prepared a ladder to heaven, and you have reached the top of that ladder. So I would like to say, salamat po, because at one time or another, in fact, in most time of her life, you shared that kind of life with us. So, I would not like to say that we bid you adieu tonight, because all of us, at one time or another, will go the path that she has now. So I'd like to say, till we meet again. Pakikamusta mo na lang ako kay Teddy pag nagkita kayo. Okay. And I know that the time will come when somebody else will be standing here where I am, and I will be where she is now. But please remember, wherever we are, whatever decade in life we have or had, there must always be love and respect. And Dr. Baltazar showed that to us, not by words alone, but by action. And I hope that I do honor to her, because of what I am today is because at one time or another she gave a part of herself to me and to all of